Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nora Shikin Sahul Hamid. I am from the National Defence University of Malaysia, and today my research title is Etiquettes of a Scholar According to the Islamic Perspective. Before I start, I would like to share with you some of our university's achievements along the years. We are very proud to be part of UPNM, or the National Defence University of Malaysia. Please allow me to introduce to you our research members. We have Professor Dr. Haji Hassan Albana Muhammad. We have Nurhana Muhammad Rafiuddin, Dr. Ridwan Yasin, Colonel Associate Professor Dr. Burhanuddin Jalal, and we have Dr. Amna Saya Ismail. The presentation contents for this research includes the introduction, literature review, research objective, research methodology, findings, conclusion, and references. A brief on what this research is all about. Knowing the title is Etiquettes of a Scholar According to the Islamic Perspective, I would like to share with you that this research focuses on Imam Al-Ghazali. Okay, so Imam Al-Ghazali produced a manual that explains the basics of obtaining guidance via taqwa, which relates to God consciousness. In a while, I will let you know how it's related to academics and education and what it means to be a student when seeking knowledge. Okay, so Imam Al-Ghazali mentioned 3 essential items in reaching obedience: abstaining from disobedience, and relationship etiquette with God and his creation. So one of the sections in the book, the beginning of guidance, covers the etiquettes of a scholar. So basically this research is going to outline what Islam emphasizes for an ethical civic life. So if you see the existing societal structure through values is seen as an attitude that must be developed, educated, and used as a guide, especially for Muslims, while interacting with others. As a Muslim, we believe that Islam gives the perfect and complete guide for people to live the best lives possible for every individual, regardless of their background and social status. And the human being has the choice to manage their life according to Allah and following God's commands through the guidance provided, which is the Quran and Sunnah. Following the guidance and Allah's commands will lead people to contentment and tranquility in this world and the hereafter. Okay, and the Quran teaches individuals to use intellect within a specific framework of thought. Islam's genesis was, in truth, a birth of inductive intelligence. There is a lesson to be learned with regards to the story of Prophet Adam alayhi salam, peace be upon him, and Iblis, mentioned in the Quran. But before that, let me give you a brief definition on the word guidance. The word guidance is specified as something which gives direction or counsel as to a judgment or course of action. This is according to the Word Web online dictionary, but according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it is regarded as advice and support about how to do something or deal with problems related to work, education, or relationships. Getting back to the story of Prophet Adam alayhi salam, peace be upon him, and Iblis, the lesson and story of Iblis and the prophets, peace be upon him, provide many lessons and wisdom that one might learn from, where knowledge can either take one to the path of righteous and leading a life that is blessed by Allah, or knowledge with pride and arrogance which can lead us astray as chosen by Iblis, the accursed one. Islam is a religion that obliges its believers to learn where there are etiquettes involved to receive blessings while seeking knowledge. The knowledge we acquire is based on sincerity so that we may use the knowledge for good and conduct good actions. Man must seek knowledge and put it into practice in all aspects of life, even in state governance. Seeking knowledge is wajib, or made compulsory for every believer. Moving on to the literature review. There should be humility and guidance when it comes to seeking knowledge. Intellectual humility is a state of mind that governs our intellect behavior, and it entails acknowledging and accepting our intellectual limits in pursuing more knowledge, truth, and understanding, something that Iblis refused to acknowledge. A vital aspect of a believer is humility, which is even more critical for someone learning or seeking knowledge and imparting knowledge. Intellectually modest people recognize that their views, opinions, and perspectives are fallible because they recognize that the evidence on which they base their beliefs may be limited or defective, or that they may lack the competence or aptitude to grasp and assess the evidence. Knowledge is key when it comes to achieving Malaysia's Shared Prosperity Vision SPV 2030. The policy statement identifies the priorities and objectives for the country in the next 10 years. SPV 2030 looks into the nation's goals to build the economy, create an equitable system, and portray a new general vision for growth and progress. With a new and ambitious focus on structural economic difficulties, the growth strategy maintains a year's focus on the need to raise knowledge transfer, innovation, and talents to help the country gain advantages through knowledge. The research objective. This study aims to gather knowledge from educational philosopher Imam Al-Ghazali, specifically on the etiquettes of a scholar from the Islamic perspectives. We used a library research for the research methodology. The research process began with data collection, and then it moved on to data analysis, the information gathered from a secondary source, the book titled The Beginning of Guidance by Imam Al-Ghazali. The information gathered was analyzed to see the Islamic educational approaches to becoming a student and seeking knowledge. After the analysis, these are the findings. The student's etiquette with his teacher and seeking knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Islam was founded upon purity, and the student's first responsibility is to concentrate on cleaning his soul. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not intend for us to be concerned about stain-free garments. When he stated it, he was referring to the heart. The second responsibility of students is to limit their ties to home to a minimum and to go to various places to keep their minds open to new ideas. The third obligation of a student is to avoid acting arrogantly or commanding his teacher in the face of knowledge. The student should entirely submit to his teacher's authority like a sick person. It is also vital for the student to have a constant commitment to his or her teacher. The fourth responsibility is avoiding intellectual confrontations, since they produce uncertainty and misunderstanding. The fifth obligation is to not abandon any desirable scientific subjects before thoroughly examining them. If he has a skill, he should master it to the utmost degree feasible. If this is the case, he must first master the essential aspect of the subject. A student can only do so if they have completed studying everything. The student's last obligation is to imbue his inner self with traits that will bring him before Allah, and seeking knowledge must never be for fortune or rank. The teacher's etiquette while guiding student. The primary obligation of the guiding teacher is to be friendly to the student and treat him as her or his own son and daughter. The guiding teacher's second responsibility is to not postpone any true advice until tomorrow, such as prohibiting them from accepting a position before they have earned it, or diving into hidden knowledge before they have adequately established their apparent knowledge. The guiding teacher's third responsibility is advising the student and preventing him from developing faulty features. And last but not least, the guiding teacher's last obligation is to fulfill Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's admonition, which is to not seek a wage for teaching. As a conclusion, Islam encourages learning, asking questions, and pursuing information to develop oneself. All Muslims must seek knowledge, and every Muslim must pursue knowledge from birth till his last breath. Moreover, it is condemned to speak without knowledge, and pursuing knowledge has etiquettes. The seeker of knowledge must follow specific rules to gain Allah's blessings and pleasure in this world and in the next. Before studying or seeking knowledge, one must grasp its basic etiquettes and manners. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, goodbye, and Assalamu alaikum.